One time when I was like 12, my older sister Lauren and I were sharing a bunk bed, and we were going to sleep, and it was like 2 in the morning or something, and we were kind of just like talking about random stuff for a while when she asked me, Dani, do you ever like think about anything? I remember she said this because she would always ask like existential questions about the world, like, Dani, what do you think about heaven? Or what does it mean to be a good person? Or all this stuff that she would come up with. And I never really had anything to say. Like, I would always just want to go to bed. So I remember in response to this question, I just said something like, not really. I don't really know what I think about. And then I kind of went to bed. For some reason, I still think about that conversation like to this day. I don't know what runs through the average person's head, but I genuinely wish I could see, because it seems like everyone is just out in the world thinking about deep stuff all the time. And I'm just like inside of my own head thinking about absolutely nothing. Or when I am thinking about something, it's not like some deep thought or observance. It's just like something I'm about to say or a feeling I have. Like, I never understood what people mean when they say, take some time to think about it. Like, how can you think about anything for more than like a few seconds, let alone some time? Like, is that a day? Is that a week? I genuinely could not have seen myself thinking about something for a long period of time until recently. And I mean, very recently. For some reason, in the past couple of weeks, I've been forced to, I guess, look inward at some bad habits of mine. And with that, I've done a lot of thinking, which I usually don't do. Like, for some reason, all I want to do right now in my life is listen to SZA or Mac Miller and paint on my bedroom floor and just think. Because that type of music and like that activity just forces me to calm down, and I like never used to do those things before, and like it feels really nice. It's like a very refreshing and good feeling to just think. I used to just like listen to meaningless loud music whenever I can and do anything to escape my own thoughts, but doing the opposite has been so nice. I've even just been sitting in silence sometimes, which is crazy for me. Like, I hate silence, and I hate my own thoughts, and I hate my own feelings, and I've never felt like I was like strong enough to handle it. But something about the past couple weeks, I've just been doing it a lot. And also these videos I've been making have been helping me a lot too, because I'm essentially just journaling, which I never used to do. I just happen to be putting it out on the internet. But like, I am like thinking about things, observing things, like writing my thoughts down, which I didn't used to do. So there's just a lot of thinking going on recently. So what have I been thinking about? You're probably wondering. The first thing, and honestly the biggest thing, is my marriage. It will be my 2-year wedding anniversary tomorrow. Well, when you're watching this, it will be today. And it feels like every day that goes by, marriage gets a little bit tougher. Not like it gets harder to be married, because I love being married and I wouldn't change it. It's just, as you grow up, and like I'm still only 21, so I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like when I'm 50, but you start to worry more and more about adult problems like money, and it doesn't stop getting harder from what I know. Like, we don't even have kids or anything yet, but it seems like all the time we're just experiencing more responsibility and expectations as like young adults, and it's crazy to be married through it all. I feel really lucky to be married through it all though, because I feel like when you're in your 20s, you're like going through a lot of changes and growth and whatever, and I don't know, I feel like being alone is how most people experience it, but to have like a partner going through the exact same stuff as you at the exact same time, pretty much, at least for me, it's been really helpful. And I've also been thinking about what life will be like when we move back to LA and into our new apartment. Like, we haven't been alone in a long time, because right now we're in his parents' house, and a couple months ago we had roommates. So I just keep thinking about what life as just 2 people in a house is gonna be like, because it takes, you know, a lot of growth and maturity to have a great marriage. And I think that being in other people's houses or having roommates or whatever has caused us to, I guess, be able to ignore our problems or avoid our problems. But like, once we get back to LA, once we get into our freaking 1-bedroom little apartment with just us and Norman, I think it's definitely going to cause us to face a lot of things that we might have not had to face before. So I've been thinking a lot about that, and whenever that happens. I've also been thinking about where we should be living a lot. I just mentioned we're moving back to LA, and we don't have any plan other than that, but sometimes it is hard to be confident in that decision, because our family is here in Nashville, and it is so much cheaper to live here. Like, so much cheaper and so much more convenient. Like, the issue is that in almost every practical sense, it's better to live here, but there's a reason why like so many YouTubers and musicians live in LA, and there's just no way to get those relationships and connections out in Nashville if you want to try to succeed in those industries. So that's the biggest reason why we aren't permanently moving back here yet. I definitely want to move back to Nashville at some point, like whenever I raise a family or in a year or 2 years or something. I don't know, but especially with Emin's band, like the amount of things that he did in just the 3 months that we lived in LA this year was more than, you know, the entire 5 or 6 years he lived in Nashville combined. And like, I know that's the place to be for him. I think it's the place to be for me in my YouTube. I think it will help me if I like do certain things, which I haven't been doing, but like, I just feel that that's the place to be. Even though like practically it doesn't make sense, I have just an intuition that I feel that that's the right spot for us right now. It would also just feel odd to like move back to Nashville because we took such a huge leap coming out to LA, and it feels like taking 10 steps back if we just give up. I don't know if I'm emotionally attached to California because I grew up there, but I just really don't want to let it go yet. And even if it's impractical or stressful or not a good idea, I just kind of want to ignore all those things and live there anyway so I can be in the state that I really want to be in. But you also can't ignore that stuff. Like, you can't just pretend not to care about security and stability. So I don't know. I think we're making the right decision, but it's just been running through my head a lot, and my husband's as well, because you never fully know, you know, like you think you know, but you don't really know. I also started therapy again yesterday. I started seeing my old therapist, who I've mentioned to you guys before, and it was honestly kind of weird at first because I never met him in person before. So like, I only did remote therapy with him up until literally a couple days ago. And so working with him in person was definitely different, and it was kind of anxiety inducing, but I do think it's a lot more effective for me than like online therapy at this point in my life, because he was able to like, you know, read my body language and know if I'm paying attention and stuff like that. So there were a lot of pluses to it, and I definitely will keep seeing him in person for the time that I'm in Nashville. But the issue is that I just don't trust most people, like especially men. And it's not because of him, it's just, it's hard for me to feel comfortable alone in a room with an old man, because my brain is just like, I'm alone in a room with a man. Scary. Like, in reality, it's not scary at all. And I do trust him as a therapist. I just kind of have a messed up brain. So that's part of the reason why I'm in therapy too. It just sucks because I can only do therapy with him until next month, and then I have to find someone else. And you can only do so much in 4 weeks of therapy. He even said to me that he wishes he could just wave a magic wand and fix all my issues, but it's just not possible. So who knows what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna put in work. I'm gonna try my hardest. Oh my God, Emin is literally sleeping next to me because it's 1 a.m. as I film this. And he's snoring so loud. Emin. Anyway, guys, honestly, I feel really alive for the first time in a super long time. And for the most part, I'm not running from anything anymore. I'm just accepting most things as they come and trying to be a peaceful and happy person. And I'm just here. So thanks for joining me. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.